Hello, and thank you for coming to my channel. I am Amir of Hazelwood, talking to you from Vinland Outpost in Pointford, Newfoundland. As my health is getting better, I'm able to do a little bit more these days. I'm going to try to do a few more videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so today I'm going to do 3 videos. So without further ado, let's get into this video. The case is about a Rhonda Laureen Runningbird. Miss Runningbird was out near Swan Lake. She walked away from her friends and never returned, missing from Clearwater County, Alberta. Missing since March 26, 1995, year of birth 1969, age of disappearance 25, gender female, biogroup indigenous, eye color brown, hair black and long, height 162 centimeters or 5'4", weight 58 kg, 128 pounds, build medium, complexion dark. So we'll get into the news article from CBC.com. It's been 46 years since Rhonda Runningbird was born, and her mother, Mavis Crowchild, still remembers what she said to her baby that day, holding her. I told her, "You're going to be a traditional girl." Crowchild, whose home community is Alberta Siksika Nation. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Crowchild, whose home community is Alberta Siksika Nation, she said, held on the cultural practices she could remember from her life before residential school to teach Runningbird. Yet the words she spoke on the day of Runningbird's birth became true in tragic sense. By 1995, she was among hundreds of Indigenous girls and women whose common experience reflects a Canadian crisis. She disappeared without a trace while on a hunting trip with her common-law partner Fred Legrelli. At the time, Runningbird was using a colostomy bag for injuries she suffered during a brutal beating by Legrelli, according to her mother and the hospital records. According to Runningbird's brother, Keith Runningbird, she was gathering evidence to charge Legrelli for assault, but he found out shortly before she vanished. Her body was never found, and police said there is not enough evidence to determine whether her disappearance involved foul play. I was lonely. Runningbird's life started in Camrose, Alberta. There she and Crowchild were surrounded by humidity and wild roses, but family was far away. I was lonely, Crowchild said. They moved back to Siksika Nation, where Crowchild taught Runningbird to bead. Upon graduating high school, Runningbird met her first husband, Lance Cryer. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl. She was a good mother, Crowchild said. But Runningbird did not stay. While in her early 20s, she went to a family gathering in Inglewood, Alberta, and met Crowchild's sister's husband, Fred Legrelli, a Cree man from Alberta's Sunchild First Nation. Alcohol brought them together that night, Crowchild said. Shortly after they met, Legrelli and Runningbird left their respective partners and moved to Red Deer, Alberta. History of violence. It is alleged that before he made a home with Runningbird, Legrelli tried to kill his wife, Crowchild's sister, Rose. He took her, threw her in a truck, and he drove down the road. They hit a sharp curve, and he rolled the truck, Crowchild said. At the time, Rose was 7 months pregnant with his child and her sister added. She almost died, but she didn't lose the baby. Pills. According to Crowchild, the relationship between Runningbird and Legrelli brought about a baby boy and addiction to pills and multiple trips to the hospital. She drank and took pills for her nerves because of the abuse, she said. Before the couple had their own child, Legrelli was violent with Runningbird's other children, Crowchild said. They'd come home and say, Grandma, we slept under the bed, or Grandma, we slept outside. We had to hide outside. Refusing to speak to her family about the abuse, Runningbird suffered in silence, according to her mother. Physical signs indicated the violence was growing worse. Nearly 1 hour passed as Runningbird struggled to climb 7 stairs to her mother's living room following a beating that left her with a colostomy bag. He had shoved some kind of liquor bottle up her. I won't say it because I don't know if I'll get in trouble on YouTube, but her downstairs area. Crowchild said. I questioned her and I said, "Let me call the ambulance." "No, please, Mom, don't do that," she said. "I'm going home now." She wouldn't disclose anything to me. Love, Rhonda. On March 26, 1995, Legrelli set out on a hunting trip to Swan Lake, Alberta with his sister Liza and the 14-month-old son he shared with Runningbird. Despite debilitating injuries, Runningbird went on the trip too. She was never seen again. Crowchild said Legrelli provided a statement to the RCMP in the Rocky Mountain House, saying his truck got stuck in the mud and Runningbird set out to look for help, leaving a note behind. The way she looked, no one's going to survive in the forest while sick like that with a colostomy bag, Crowchild said. They wouldn't. Why would anybody walk when they could go right to the road and wait there? It would have been so easy for them to flag down a truck to help them out. The note that Legrelli said Runningbird had left behind indicated that she was going to Cow Lake, Alberta, and was signed Love, Rhonda, with 2 hearts drawn around the name. Police requested a handwritten sample from Legrelli, and you know what they told us about the note, Crowchild said? That they and Legrelli and Runningbird had the same handwriting. Family findings. Crowchild and the rest of Runningbird's family learned she was missing when they saw it on the news. They had been trying to reach her for a week. Days later, family members arrived at the scene where an officer from Rocky Mountain House, RCMP, was leading an investigation. According to Crowchild, the officer said, "Your daughter must be in Edmonton just getting drunk." That's not right if that did happen. I mean, ever since that time, I never want anything to do with him, she said. Police gave the family permission to search the area. They found what they believed to be Runningbird's glasses, a shoe, and her colostomy bag. According to RCMP, the items did not belong to her, Crowchild said. But I know it was her shoe. As a little girl growing up, she always tied her shoes in a certain way that's how her shoe was tied, she said. In a letter to the family, Sergeant Dan Leon and other and another officer of the Rocky Mountain House RCMP said they compared the eyeglass prescription with Runningbird's optometrist records. They are not Rhonda's, and they're not even close to her prescription, the letter reads in part. Crowchild said investigators had consulted with an optometrist that Runningbird was no longer seen by the time of her disappearance, and they refused to compare the prescription using up-to-date information. Like in my heart, you know your own child, Crowchild said. When I see it on the news, I knew right away that he killed her. Person of interest. The 1995 letter Leon wrote to the family said that there was a criminal possibility in the case of RCMP. Quickly examined it. We may ask Fred Legrelli to submit a polygraph examination as there is a remote possibility we don't have the whole truth, the letter reads. Both Rocky Mountain House RCMP and the Calgary Police Services have since handled Runningbird's case, and investigators have identified a person of interest. That person of interest has since passed away, said Corporal Hal Turnbull of Alberta RCMP spokesperson. Legrelli never took the polygraph test, and in 2016 he drank himself to death, according to Crowchild. On May 25th, 1995, 2 months after Runningbird's disappearance, an Alberta court awarded Crowchild custody of the children her daughter shared with Cryer, who was later beaten to death. Around the same time, Legrelli gave the son he shared with Runningbird to his aunt, Crowchild said. Runningbird's daughter now has children of their own, but Crowchild says she continues to struggle with the loss of her mother. I tried to take her with me to the missing women's things. She finds it too hard, she said. The son Runningbird shared with Legrelli lives in the aftermath too. He's pretty angry, Crowchild said. I'll hug him and I'll say, it's okay. Just talk about what you know, I said, because you were with your dad. You had to know what happened to your mommy. He said, no, I don't want to talk about it. He gives it a real cold shoulder. For Keith Runningbird, trauma has reverberated through the life he through the life he lives without his sister, but he found meaning in it. That's where my attitude changed towards women, he said. My mom always told me, you don't hit your wife. If you're going to hit your wife, put my face in front of that and see if you can hit your mom. Still, he said, he's had no closure. I know I'll never see my sister. I'll never get to say hi. I'll never get to hear her laugh. I'll never get to hear her say, I love you. Or I'll see you next time, he said. In the Blackfoot language, there is no word for goodbye. So yeah, sadly the police of all types haven't always been the best, and I hope there's some more due diligence going forward just to try to give the family some closure and maybe even find what happened to her. The person of interest has passed away. Sadly, he can't receive any justice whatsoever, and I mean, people like that deserve a whole lot worse than drinking themselves to death, I'll say that. But, yeah. Again, I will be posting links to the articles and descriptions of where you can send any information whatsoever that you may have on the case, or if you can share and like this so we can spread it around to hopefully get some more information, maybe give that family some closure. I mean, it's been a while, but I mean, there's always hope in the darkness. So yes, anyways, this is Amir of Hazelwood, talking to you from Vinland Outpost in Point Verde, Newfoundland. I appreciate your time in checking out my videos, and if you could please like and share these videos to the public, to your friends. It doesn't matter where you are in North America. This information needs to get out there to the public. It needs to see the light of day again and to be commonplace. We need to start getting some information out there and try to find something more. Without any more rambling on, again, thank you for listening, and hope the new year brings you hopefully some peace and good mind. Thank you for watching.